All right, as the pandemic continues, people are slowly getting back to work, right? But with that comes a rise in sick days being used.
Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Joe St. George, he's joining us now live with an in-depth look at how this issue is impacting American workers. Joe, good morning. Let's get right to it. The United States remains one of the only countries in the world without paid sick leave. Now, what are some statistics that are behind this issue?
Yeah, good morning, guys. I'm a numbers guy, and it's important to look at the data on this and some stark numbers coming from the Department of Labor and the Bureau of Labor Statistics in the last several weeks on this. We can show you again just how much of a spike in calling out sick this country saw in the month of January. Look at it, how it compares to the last several years, substantially higher. So as we enter this next phase of the pandemic, the virus is still going to be out there. There's a concern that people who don't have paid sick time, right? Companies, not every company is mandated to offer PTO. A lot of jobs do, but a lot of fast food workers, a lot of restaurant employees, they don't necessarily have paid sick time. And when you're trying to pay for your family, pay high rents, you may be inclined perhaps to go to work if you have COVID-19, if you don't have symptoms and you're able to work. There's a concern it could spread amongst the community that way, especially in unvaccinated areas. So all of this brings us to a push here on Capitol Hill by a number of progressives to once again revisit the concept of paid leave, specifically paid sick leave, perhaps related to COVID-19, making it more mandatory across the company, regardless of where you work, regardless across the country, regardless of where you work. There's a push by progressives to have this included as part of President Biden's State of the Union address, which, by the way, is 1 week from today. A new bill, perhaps at least a new debate, though, unfolding over federal sick time and whether it should be mandated by the federal government, guys.
Yeah, that new bill proposal, Joe, to get Americans more paid sick time, what does exactly that include? Do you think the president is even going to be for it?
Well, the president would certainly be for it. He's supported paid leave for quite some time, but whether or not that measure can get through the United States Congress is very, very tricky. There's a reason that it hasn't passed thus far, and that's because to get the necessary number of senators, the necessary numbers of members in the House for it is still very unclear. Remember, Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia, we've mentioned his name so much over the last year or so regarding President Biden's agenda. What does he think of the concept of it? What do Republicans think of telling businesses what they have to have? Traditionally, conservatives have stayed away from mandates for businesses and small businesses across the country. So that's where the debate is this morning. If it can gain any steam as a direct result of the number of Americans calling out sick, it's still too early to tell. We shall see. Keep an eye on this one, though.
And Joe, with about a minute left, now to another major issue, truckers. They recently impacted economic activity in Detroit with a protest by Canadian truckers. Now there's talk about a protest happening in D.C. How can this impact the U.S.?
Well, first off, it could impact trade and commerce. And you're waking up in South Texas this morning and you're saying, well, wait a minute, how is a trucker convoy in Washington, D.C. going to impact me? But so much commerce travels throughout this part of the country that any impact on the major interstates, it's known as the Beltway around Washington, D.C., any shutdown of that could have residual delays in something that you buy online, for instance, and is trying to have shipped to you. That is the question this morning. Security here at the Capitol, they have been briefing lawmakers on what they perceive to be as a possible threat. They've already closed down some roads near the Capitol as well. The fence will be going up around the United States Capitol, not just in response to the threat of a trucker convoy here in Washington, D.C., but also because of President Biden's State of the Union, which we mentioned is 1 week from today. So another possible trucker convoy, this time in America's capital, not necessarily on those bridges up leading from Canada into places like Michigan.